Hey everyone, welcome back to Nature's Blueprint. Today we're tackling a plant that causes a lot of frustration in the garden, the bell pepper. If you've ever ended up with tiny stunted peppers or plants that just refuse to produce, I want you to know it's probably not bad luck. More often than not, it comes down to a few small repeated mistakes that are incredibly easy to fix once you know what they are. I've seen it time and time again, gardeners getting discouraged thinking peppers are just too finicky for them. But I'm here to tell you, that's not the case. Bell peppers are precise, there's no doubt about that. They have specific needs, but once you understand and meet those needs, they become one of the most reliable and productive plants in your garden. Think of them less as difficult and more as a plant that just wants things done a certain way. They'll reward your attention to detail with an abundance of crisp, sweet, and colorful fruit that you just can't get from a grocery store. It's all about giving them the right foundation from the very beginning. And the best part? You don't need a sprawling 10-acre farm or a cabinet full of expensive, complicated fertilizers to succeed. It doesn't matter if you're gardening in raised beds, containers, or a small in-ground plot. The secret to a massive bell pepper harvest lies in following the right steps in the right order. So today, I'm going to walk you through my complete 12-step system for growing more bell peppers than you'll know what to do with. Let's get into it. Our journey to a huge harvest begins long before we even touch the soil. It starts with selecting the right varieties for your specific garden and climate. This is a step so many people overlook, but it can be the difference between a handful of peppers and a continuous supply all season long. If you live in a cooler northern climate with a shorter growing season, you need to look for varieties labeled as early or those with a shorter days to maturity number, often around 60 to 70 days. Varieties like King of the North or Yankee Bell are bred for exactly these conditions. They'll start producing fruit much faster, ensuring you get a harvest before the first frost. On the other hand, if you're gardening in a hotter climate with a long season, you have more options. You can plant those early producers for a quick first harvest, but you should also mix in some mid-season and late-season varieties. These peppers, which might take 80 to 100 days to mature, are often larger and more robust, thriving in the summer heat. By planting a mix, you create a staggered harvest. Your early varieties will give you fruit while the later ones are still growing, and just as the early ones start to slow down, your late-season giants will kick into high gear. This strategy ensures you're never without fresh peppers from summer through fall. Once you have your varieties picked out, the next critical step is preparing the soil. Bell peppers are what we call heavy feeders, which means they have a big appetite and will quickly deplete soil that isn't properly amended. They need a consistent supply of nutrients throughout their entire life cycle, and the best way to provide that is by creating a rich, living soil before you even plant. Your goal is to build a foundation that acts like a slow-release fertilizer, feeding your plants day in and day out. The single most important ingredient for this is well-aged compost. I like to add a generous 2 to 3 inches of compost to the top of my beds and work it into the first 6 inches of soil. Beyond just nutrients, we also need to pay attention to soil pH. Bell peppers thrive in soil that is slightly acidic to neutral, with a sweet spot right between 6.0 and 6.8. If your soil is too alkaline or too acidic, the pepper plants can't access the nutrients that are available, even if you've added plenty of compost. This is called nutrient lockout, and it's a common cause of stunted growth. A simple soil test kit can tell you your pH in minutes. If your soil is too acidic, you can add garden lime. If it's too alkaline, adding elemental sulfur or peat moss will help lower it. Getting the soil structure and pH right before planting is like giving your peppers the perfect home to grow up in. Now that our soil is perfect, it's time to plant our pepper starts. And here's a technique that I swear by, one that gives your plants a massive advantage right from the start. Plant them deep. Just like their relatives, the tomatoes, peppers have the ability to grow new roots, called adventitious roots, all along their buried stems. By planting them deeper than they were in their nursery pot, You are encouraging the plant to develop a much larger, more robust root system. A bigger root system means better stability against wind and heavy fruit, and more importantly, it means the plant can absorb more water and nutrients from the soil. To do this properly, take your pepper seedling and gently pinch off the lowest 1 or 2 sets of leaves, the ones closest to the soil line. Don't be afraid, the plant will be just fine. Then, dig a hole that's deep enough to bury the stem right up to where the next set of leaves begins. When you fill the hole back in, you've effectively increased the size of the plant's potential root zone by several inches. This simple trick creates a stronger, more resilient plant that is far better equipped to handle the stresses of summer heat and drought, setting the stage for incredible productivity later on. You know, it can be so tempting to squeeze as many plants as possible into a garden bed. We all want to maximize our space, but when it comes to bell peppers, overcrowding is honestly a recipe for disaster. Proper spacing is non-negotiable for healthy plants and a big harvest. These plants really need good air circulation around them to prevent fungal diseases like powdery mildew, which just thrive in damp, stagnant conditions. When plants are packed too tightly, their leaves overlap, trapping moisture and creating, well, the perfect environment for these diseases to take hold. Once a disease starts, it can spread through a crowded bed like wildfire. As a general rule, you should space your standard bell pepper plants about 18 to 24 inches apart in all directions. This might look like a lot of empty space when you first plant those tiny seedlings, but trust me, they will fill it in quickly. This spacing gives each plant enough room for its leaves to spread out and capture sunlight without competing with its neighbors. It also ensures that air can flow freely, drying the leaves after rain or morning dew. More space also means less competition for water and nutrients in the soil, allowing each plant to reach its full genetic potential and produce an abundance of large, healthy fruit. Okay, so this next step is all about being proactive, not reactive. You need to provide support for your bell pepper plants long before you think they need it. A lot of gardeners wait until they see a branch bending under the weight of a heavy pepper, or worse, after a branch has already snapped. By then, the damage is done, and the plant has to waste precious energy trying to recover instead of producing more fruit. A single bell pepper can weigh half a pound or more, and a healthy plant can hold several of these at once. That's a lot of weight for its relatively brittle branches to handle, especially during a windy day. The best time to add support is right when you plant your seedlings, or at least within the first couple of weeks. This allows the root system to grow around the support structure, minimizing disturbance later on. You have a few great options here. A simple wooden or bamboo stake placed a few inches from the stem works well. You can loosely tie the main stem to the stake as it grows. My personal favorite method is using a sturdy tomato cage. Placing a cage around each seedling gives it a built-in support system that it can grow into. The branches will naturally rest on the cage rings, providing support from all sides without any need for tying. Pruning can be, honestly, an intimidating topic for many gardeners, but for bell peppers, a little bit of purposeful trimming can make a huge difference in your final harvest. We're not talking about a major haircut here. We're talking about strategic removal of specific branches to improve airflow and direct the plant's energy where we want it to go, into making big, beautiful peppers. The first type of pruning I recommend is removing the lower leaves and any branches that are touching or are very close to the soil. These lower branches are often shaded out anyway and are prime entry points for soil-borne diseases to splash up onto the plant. Once the plant is about a foot tall and starts to form a Y shape, you can do a second, more strategic pruning. Look at the dense interior of the plant. Are there branches crossing over each other or growing inward? These are candidates for removal. Pruning out some of this dense interior growth opens up the center of the plant to more light and air circulation, further reducing disease risk. It also tells the plant to stop wasting energy on maintaining an excess of leafy growth, and instead, focus that power on developing the flowers and fruits on the remaining, stronger branches. A light, strategic prune leads to a healthier plant and bigger, better peppers. We already built a great foundation with our compost-rich soil, but, heavy feeding bell peppers will benefit from some supplemental feeding throughout the season. However, the key is to feed them the right thing at the right time. This is where, honestly, a lot of gardeners make a critical mistake. In the early stages of growth, before the plant starts to flower, it's totally okay to use a balanced, all-purpose organic fertilizer. This helps the plant develop strong stems and a lush canopy of leaves. But once you see those first little flower buds appear, you need to change your strategy immediately. Continuing to feed with a high nitrogen fertilizer after flowering will signal the plant to keep producing leaves at the expense of fruit. You'll get a huge, beautiful green bush with very few peppers. As soon as flowering begins, switch to a fertilizer that is lower in nitrogen and higher in phosphorus and potassium, the P and K in the NPK ratio. These elements are crucial for flower development and fruit production. A great organic option is a liquid fertilizer like fish emulsion or a compost tea. I love using compost tea every 2 to 3 weeks. It's a gentle, consistent feed that provides not only nutrients, but also beneficial microbes to the soil, supporting the plant's overall health without the risk of overfeeding. Inconsistent watering is, honestly, one of the biggest culprits behind common bell pepper problems like blossom drop and blossom end rot. Peppers need a steady, reliable supply of moisture to thrive. When they experience cycles of drought followed by a sudden flood of water, the plant gets stressed, causing it to drop its flowers before they can be pollinated. It also disrupts calcium uptake, which leads to that ugly, black, sunken spot on the bottom of the fruit known as blossom end rot. The key to avoiding these issues is to water deeply and predictably. A light sprinkle on the soil surface every day is not what you want. Instead, you want to water deeply enough to saturate the root zone, which is about 6 to 8 inches down. This encourages the roots to grow deep into the soil, making the plant more resilient to heat and drought. The best way to do this is with slow, direct watering at the base of the plant using a soaker hose or drip irrigation. This keeps the leaves dry, which helps prevent disease. How often you need to water will depend on your climate and soil, but a good method is the finger test. Just stick your finger 2 inches into the soil near the plant. If it feels dry, it's time to water. Aim for consistency, and your plants will thank you with a heavy, healthy fruit set. If consistent watering is the goal, then mulching is the secret weapon that makes it achievable. Applying a layer of organic mulch around your bell pepper plants is honestly one of the easiest and most effective things you can do to ensure their success. Mulch acts like a protective blanket for your soil. It helps to dramatically slow down the evaporation of water from the soil surface, which means your soil stays moist for much longer after you water. This creates that stable, consistently moist environment that pepper roots love and reduces how often you need to break out the hose. I recommend applying a 2 to 3 inch layer of organic mulch, like shredded leaves, straw, or wood chips, around the base of your plants. Be sure to leave a small 1-inch gap right around the stem to prevent rot. Beyond just moisture retention, mulch also helps to regulate soil temperature, keeping the roots cooler on hot summer days and warmer on cool nights. And as the organic mulch slowly breaks down over the season, it adds valuable organic matter back into your soil, improving its structure and fertility for years to come. It's a simple step that solves multiple problems at once. Even with perfect soil, spacing, and watering, pests and diseases can sometimes find their way into the garden. The key to dealing with them is early detection and quick, gentle intervention. The best way to do this is to make a habit of spending a few minutes with your plants every day or two. Don't just glance at them from a distance. Get up close. Look at the undersides of leaves, check the growing tips, and inspect the stems. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary, tiny aphids clustered on new growth, holes chewed in leaves, or the first signs of powdery mildew. When you catch these problems early, they are much easier to manage. For common pests like aphids or spider mites, A strong blast of water from the hose can often be enough to dislodge them. If they persist, a simple application of insecticidal soap or neem oil, applied in the evening to avoid harming beneficial insects, is an excellent organic solution. The same goes for fungal diseases. Catching them early and removing the affected leaves can often stop the spread. Regular inspection is your first and best line of defense, allowing you to solve small problems before they become big ones that threaten your entire harvest. This might sound a bit counterintuitive, but one of the best ways to get more bell peppers is to pick the ones you already have. Harvesting your peppers frequently and consistently sends a signal to the plant that its job isn't done yet. The plant's ultimate goal is to produce mature seeds for reproduction. When you pick a pepper, especially while it's still in its green unripe stage, you are effectively tricking the plant. It thinks, "My attempt to make seeds has failed. I need to produce more flowers and more fruit to try again." This biological trigger is incredibly powerful. If you leave peppers on the plant to fully ripen to red, yellow, or orange, the plant starts to think its mission is complete. It will slow down or even stop producing new flowers, putting all its energy into maturing the seeds in the existing fruit. While fully ripe peppers are delicious and have higher vitamin content, harvesting some of them at the green stage will keep the plant in a highly productive mode for much longer. I like to harvest a mix, some green for cooking now, and I let others ripen on the plant for that sweet flavor. This balanced approach extends your harvest window and maximizes your total yield over the entire season. So, as we look back on all these steps, a clear theme emerges. Success with bell peppers isn't about working harder in the garden, it's about working smarter. It's not about endless toil or fighting against nature. It's about paying attention to the specific needs of the plant and providing the right conditions from the very beginning. When you take the time to build that rich, well-draining soil, give each plant the space it needs to thrive, and support it before it even asks, you are setting the stage for success. You are creating an environment where the plant wants to produce for you. Once that foundation is in place, the rest of the season becomes a process of simple maintenance rather than a constant battle. Consistent watering, a layer of mulch, and a gentle feeding schedule aren't difficult tasks. They are small acts of attention that pay huge dividends. By understanding and respecting the plant's life cycle, pruning with purpose, harvesting often to encourage more growth, and watching for problems, you are partnering with the plant. Bell peppers don't need you to exhaust yourself. They just need you to be a thoughtful and observant gardener. Do that, and they will reward you with an incredible season-long harvest. And that's it, the complete blueprint for a massive bell pepper harvest. By focusing on these 12 key steps, you're not just growing peppers, you're building a resilient garden ecosystem. You're moving away from the cycle of frustration and disappointment and stepping into a world of abundance. Each one of these techniques is a piece of the puzzle, and when you put them all together, the results speak for themselves. I truly believe that anyone, in any garden, can achieve an incredible harvest by following these principles of working with nature. If you found this guide helpful, and you're ready to transform your garden, please consider subscribing to Nature's Blueprint. We're dedicated to bringing you practical, in-depth guides that deliver real results. Click that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. And if you know another gardener who's been struggling with their peppers, do them a favor and share this video with them. Helping each other grow is what this community is all about. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember that every small, intentional action you take in your garden builds towards a larger, more beautiful whole. Keep experimenting, keep observing, and keep building gardens that work with nature, not against it. Until next time, happy gardening.